Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive. This week's discussion is the third part of my series on Werewolf the Apocalypse. I will be talking about the Litany and the Auspices of the Garou. These are very much the fundamentals of the Garou Society beyond the fight against the worm. So I figured that would be a good point to start for this. Just so you know, the first two videos of my series on the tribes will also be up either when this video comes up or shortly thereafter. I'll be discussing first the Geta Fenris and the Fianna, so watch for those videos. And now, let's start talking about the Litany and the Auspices of the Garou. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the discussion. Every society has its laws, the rules that govern how individuals within that society should interact with each other and the outside world. For the Garou, these laws are called the Litany. These are 13 laws, and a good chunk of them specifically revolve around how Garou should be able to interact with each other and not end up killing each other. The key ones are, respect the territory of another, accept an honorable surrender, submit to those higher station, the first share of the kill goes to the one who's greatest in station. And these four really deal with how Garou should interact with each other. Then you've got two laws that, while they're not dealing with that, they're dealing with how to handle power disputes. The leader may be challenged at any time during peace. The leader may not be challenged during war. These make sense. During a peaceful time, you want to have discussion and argument and debate to get the best results. During wartime, the leader needs to be strong, in charge, and, leading. And so, you can't really have a chain of command broken in wartime. So those two, again, kind of link to the whole, this is how Garou work together, live together, without killing each other. So that's 6 out of the 7 tenets of the Litany that are dealing with inter-Garou interactions. But the others are the most telling. The first of these laws, in fact, the very first law of the Litany, is Garou shall not mate with Garou. There's a reason for this. When Garou have children with another Garou, yes, the child is always a Garou. The child is a deformed, disfigured thing. The sin against the Litany etched in its flesh and mind. And to the Garou, this is symbolic of some taint, some wrongness with this individual. In the old days, in fact, the Garou would deal with the child of two Garou by After they killed the parents, killing the child. Because the child was just a reminder of the parents' sin. Thankfully, the Garou have mellowed a little bit after this. But that's the first law of the Litany. Now, what's funny is some tribes like to say that's the first law of the Litany, so it will be remembered. And then there are some tribes who go, that's the first law of the Litany, so that as you're reciting through all the other laws, you kind of forget about that one. Tribal philosophies are weird. The second law of the Litany is combat the worm wherever it dwells. This is the purpose of the Garou. This is something that they naturally are driven to do. And so, of course, it's going to be in the Litany. It needs to be in the Litany just because you have to have your mission statement, so to speak. And then you start getting into some of the more interesting laws of the Litany. Ye shall not eat the flesh of humans. This is a little bit more recent of an addition. It's kind of believed that it wasn't part of the Litany during the time of the Impergium. And some believe that maybe the Red Talons don't necessarily follow this tenet, but you can't prove it. But the reason for this is actually because there's something spiritually sickening to Garou about eating the flesh of humans. It's very much a gateway, a toehold for the worm to work its way into a Garou. Work its way into influencing that Garou. And so that is why the Garou put this in the Litany. Then, of course, you have the veil shall not be lifted. Okay, in White Wolf, all of their groups have a rule that basically goes, the humans shouldn't know about supernatural beings. And this is pretty much that rule. It's fundamentally that, if someone's not a Garou or kinfolk or some other supernatural entity that already knows about Garou, you shouldn't be telling them. You shouldn't be shape-shifting into Krynos form in the middle of a crowded street just to see what happens. You don't break the veil. Because, humans are more numerous. Humans get frightened easy. If humans know you exist, humans will get frightened and try to kill you all. That's the philosophy there. Do not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness. This basically is a Garou who's gotten too old or too injured to fight shouldn't let themselves be made a burden on the rest of the Garou nation. Because that's what would happen. And, you have to look at their wolves. Wolves don't let the sick and infirm with them. They will leave them behind to die. And that's really what's going on here. Now, for the Garou, they have certain rights, like the right of the lone wolf, where a Garou who's gotten too old, who knows they're not gonna be alive much longer, rather than letting the people tend their infirmary, they undergo this rite, and then they go into a black spiral dancer hive and try to die fighting. That's a very common rite, actually, especially among the Get Fenris. And then the last law of the Litany is the most important. That law is, suffer not a cairn to be violated. Take no action that will allow a cairn to be violated. And this is important. It's because of what a cairn is. Cairns are these well springs of Gaia's energy. They are sacred places to the Garou. They are places, on one hand, it's where they can meditate to regenerate the gnosis that they use. There are places where they can easily cross into the Umbra, more easily summon spirits. But what they really boil down to is they are sacred places. And that is why these places should never be allowed to fall. It's like, who would let their sacred lands, their churches, their mosques, their synagogues, their temples, who would willingly let those be desecrated? And that's what this tenet's about. Of course, while it's not really written down in any laws, there's also very significant importance in the Garou society to the 5 Auspices. The 5 Auspices are basically your job among the Garou. They are determined, for the most part, by the moon sign you were born under. And by moon sign, I mean the phase of the moon. We'll start with the full. The full moons are called the Aruns. Some tribes have their own different names for them. But the Aruns are the warriors. Yes, all Garou are warriors. Arun are the warriors among warriors. They're the, I hate to use this term, they would be the Spartans among an army of Greeks. They fight. They fight better than anyone. They have gifts that, spiritual talents taught to them by spirits, that let them do more damage, take more damage, just fight absolutely better than anyone. From there, we have the gibbous moons. The Galliards. Galliards are the keepers of the Garou histories. They're the ones who recite the stories and legends of the Garou. In many ways, they're the teachers as well, because they teach the Garou, the cubs, and elder Garou the important things that they need to know by finding the stories for it. They're also the war howlers, the ones who give the howls that call Garou to arms, that organize them in battle, coordinate them, and they even have gifts that let their howl fill Garou with rage, strengthening them. Don't confuse them with bards! Don't confuse them with bards from other D&D games, or Pathfinder, or similar settings. They're not really. They perform a similar function, but, like all Garou, they are fully capable in a fight, but they serve another huge purpose in Garou culture. It is the Galliards who recognize and cause the spirit world to recognize the deeds of other Garou, to cause a Garou's renown to rise, which allows them to rise in station, going from a young Clyath, fresh out of the rite of passage Garou, to a Fostern, more veteran, more well-known Garou, all the way up eventually to Elder. It's these recognitions by the spirits that allow Garou to have spirits be willing to teach them more powerful gifts. And that is the core job, the most important thing that a Galliard does. Of course, then we have the half-moons, the Philodox, the judges and mediators. These are the ones who know Gaian law. Which, okay, it's just 13 rules. But these are the ones who understand the philosophies, the deeper meanings behind the laws. They're the ones who tend to be the ones who administer challenges, adjudicate challenges. They're the ones who settle disputes. They're the ones who enact punishments on other Garou for violating the laws. They're the ones who lead the trials, who act as the judge, jury, and executioner, basically. And that is what the half-moons, the Philodox, are. They are the judges, the mediators. Not much more to them than that. Then we have the crescent moons, the Theurges. These are the mystics among the Garou, and they vary wildly. Some are seers. Some craft the fetishes used by the Galliards and the Arun and all the others. Some go trekking into the spirit realms to find more spirits and bring back new gifts. And that's really what they are. These are the ones who deal with the spirits. And there's many ways they do that. They're also the ones who find out when spirits are unhappy and what to do to placate them, or figure out how to defeat an angry spirit or a new worm spirit. They're the spirit people. And finally, we have the no moons, the ragabash, the tricksters, the questioners of ways, the pranksters, the ones whose purpose is truly to make the Garou never take themselves too seriously, but also to make them take a look at things that they're doing and question whether that should be done that way. They are like the fools in the king's court. Because they're a ragabash, they're expected to be inane, to talk funny, or what have you. They're expected to spout ridiculous nonsense. And, like the fool in the king's court, they are rarely punished for such things. Because a jester's wisdom is still wisdom. And this is pretty much all I have for this week. So, until next week, if you like this video, please click like and subscribe down below. And I will see you next week. Until then, remember, have fun and keep gaming.